Imagine discovering an element that gives off a lot of energy, glows in the dark, and actually is known for healing people. Well, this is the story of radium. Radium was a scientific breakthrough that seemed to change the lives of several people, but it also put them in danger. Radium was discovered in 1898 by Marie and Pierre Curie, a both husband and wife duo. Marie was a Polish chemist and a physicist, while her husband Pierre was a French chemist. Together, they studied radioactivity, a term that Marie Curie brought into science. They worked with pitchblende, a heavy black rock that contains uranium. After removing the uranium, they noticed the leftover material gave off really strong radiation. Through careful experiments, they discovered two new elements, radium and polonium. Radium was really special because it gave off a really bright glow and released a lot of energy on its own. At first, radium seemed like a miracle. People thought it could cure diseases, so people used it as an early treatment for cancer. It was also added to everyday products such as toothpaste, face creams, and even drinking water. One of its most famous uses was in glow-in-the-dark paint for watch dials, clocks, and military equipment. But over time, many individuals realized how dangerous radium really was. One of the worst cases involved the radium girls. The radium girls were women who painted watch dials using radium paint, and they were told to lick their brushes to a fine point, but unknowingly they got radium in their mouths, which could lead to serious health problems. And years later, many suffered from serious health problems, as just mentioned, like bone damage and cancer. Their cases led to better safety laws to protect workers from radiation exposure. Even though radium was dangerous, and still is, its discovery helped advance science. It led to better cancer treatments, new research on radiation, and even the discovery of nuclear energy. Marie Curie went on to win 2 Nobel Prizes for her work, becoming the first person ever to win 2 different scientific fields. Today, radium is used only in controlled settings and handled with extreme care.
Radium is in group 2 on the periodic table, which makes it an alkaline earth metal. It also has the atomic number 88 and an atomic mass of 226 daltons. Its chemical properties are similar to both that of barium and of calcium. It is naturally occurring through the uranium decay series, and it is present in trace amounts throughout most of the Earth. All isotopes of radium are radioactive. The 2 most common and stable are radium-228 and radium-226. They're both part of the uranium decay series. Radium-226 is a direct isotope of uranium decay, and radium-228 is a direct isotope of thorium decay. When radium itself undergoes nuclear decay, it becomes radon, which is a gas. When radium decays, it emits all 3 forms of nuclear emissions, alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma rays. These are all significant threats to human health. Alpha particles are very heavy, which means that they don't travel very far past their source, and they don't penetrate much. They can't even penetrate the human skin. But if they're able to make it inside the human body, because their ionizations are very close together, they release all of their energy in quick succession, which can make them more mutagenic. Beta particles, on the other hand, are much smaller, so they travel faster and farther. They're also not very penetrative. They can penetrate the human skin, but aren't typically able to make it past clothing or like thin layers of metal like aluminum. And they are mutagenic if they are able to enter the human body. Gamma rays, in contrast to alpha particles and beta particles, are just packets of pure energy, essentially. They're photons, and so they travel much farther and much faster, and they can penetrate the entire human body, which makes them an entire body hazard, and they frequently mutate DNA as they pass through the body. However, because radium occurs naturally as a solid metal in normal conditions on Earth, it is not like a typical hazard that you would encounter. However, once it decays into radon, which is a gas, at that point it becomes capable of moving up off the ground and will accumulate in buildings. Even though radon is not radium, it is the product of radium decay, and it itself will continue to emit alpha particles, making it an extreme inhalation hazard anywhere that there is radium that may decay into radon.
Alright, so welcome to the age of radium. Marie and Pierre Curie discovered radium in 1898, but extracting it was extremely expensive due to its limited availability, and only a few grams existed in the whole world. In 1913, Dr. Sabin von Sagachi, a physician and co-founder of the Radium Luminous Materials Corporation, invented a luminous paint containing radium. This paint glowed in the dark and was applied to watch dials to make the numbers more visible during the night. And at the time, the public was unaware of the dangers of radium, and many believed its effects were entirely positive. Radium was considered a miracle cure, not only for cancer, but also for hay fever, gout, and constipation. Pharmacists sold pills containing radium, claiming that they could restore vitality to the elderly. And the so-called miracle substance was even consumed as a tonic, earning the nickname liquid sunshine. And radium was found in so many other consumer products, such as radium-infused jock straps, lingerie, butter, milk, even in toothpaste. They claim that every time you use the radium toothpaste, you will have a brighter smile. And even in face cream, soaps, and compact powders. One particularly popular product was the Radium Eclipse Sprayer, and was marketed as an effective insect killer for flies, mosquitoes, and cockroaches, as well as a cleaner for furniture, porcelain, and tile. And manufacturers even claimed that it was harmless to humans. The Radium Luminous Materials Corporation also used radium paint for military applications such as coating gun sights, ship compasses, aircraft dashboards, and soldier wristwatches during World War II to ensure visibility in low light conditions. And people initially believed that the radium stimulated bone marrow to produce red blood cells, making it seem like it was an obvious health benefit. And it was widely used in medical treatments, particularly for cancer therapy, where radium needles were implanted into tumors to target cancerous growths. And it was also to treat diseases such as lupus and certain nervous system disorders. However, by 1940s and 1950s, the medical use of radium decreased due to its high cost, limited availability, and increasing awareness of its hazardous effects. Today, radium is used in very few uses due to extreme radioactivity. It's still used in industrial radiography to capture high-quality shadow images in film. And additionally, radium-223 is occasionally used to treat prostate cancer that has spread to the bones. And because radium belongs to the same chemical group as calcium, it can target cancer bone cells, which emits alpha particles that could kill harmful cells while minimizing the damage to surrounding tissues.
The health risks of radium was mostly brought to light by the Radium Girls. One of the Radium Girls began experiencing toothaches, which later caused those teeth to have to be extracted. Following that, she had pain ulcers that developed where the teeth had been extracted, and then the illness spread to her mouth and to her jaw. Her jaw would eventually have to be removed as well. After this, the illness would spread to various other parts of her body, and she ended up passing away. The other Radium Girls were also deadly ill and experienced very serious symptoms similarly to how the first girl had. This went on for about 2 years as the employer of the Radium Girls refused to acknowledge any of the connections between the severe illness and their work with radium. Primary health risk for radium is radiation poisoning and a higher chance of developing cancers, which is what the Radium Girls were experiencing. Another significant death due to radium was the American socialite and athlete Eben Bayer, who promoted a radium-infused energy drink that was marketed as a medicine to prevent a number of different things, including cancer. He ended up drinking up to 3 bottles a day, for years. And in 1932, when he died due to various cancers, it was reported that his death was because of ingesting all of this radium water. Both the Radium Girls' deaths and the death of Eben Baer put an end to the radium craze with the knowledge that their deaths had been directly linked to their exposure to radium.